Have you seen all these recent cartoon ads about nervous system regulation, brain activation exercises for kids? Where they suddenly, magically, kids just do cute little exercises every morning, every evening. And from having tantrums or being too distracted and ADHD to listen to you when you're asking them to move their butt to be on time for school in the morning, they suddenly turn into these obedient unicorns, not being addicted to screens and being always so calm and happy and at peace. And it looks great, right? I was watching it as a mom and I was like, wow, I got hypnotized by watching that. But then my experienced brain kicked in. I was like, this is actually dangerous. So am I against nervous system regulation for kids? Absolutely not. This is amazing. That's definitely a life skill to learn. However, if you're a mom who has a problem with being heard by your kids, getting them to listen to you, getting them move on time in the morning, or getting them to bed at night without 50,000, one more sip of water, and then you're trying to stay calm, just like, I'll be patient, I'll be the nice mom today. And sooner or later, you're like, I cannot take this anymore, just listen to me. Then, getting some kind of nervous system regulation exercises for kids is as if you were teaching them how to put on a cute little Disney princess bandaid on their arm that is currently broken and bleeding all over the place. Sorry for being so graphic, but just to hit the point home. You're missing the point. Some cute little band-aid, it's like AKA nervous system activation for kids. It's not going to solve the issue. Wouldn't we rather have a look at, well, what actually is going on? What is happening every single morning that they break another bone, that they have another deep cut, rather than teaching them how to put a cute little band-aid and pretend like, okay, now it's solved, good for you, here you go. Like, no, the longer you keep ignoring the elephant in the room, the longer you keep avoiding solving the problem that's causing this, the more it's going to blow up in your face, and you're going to have much more serious problems than just your kid not listening to you in the morning. Okay? And this is not me fear-mongering anybody or blaming moms, like, no, it's not your fault. No, you don't have to spend another 20 years in talk therapy. No, you don't have to buy 50,000 parenting courses and memorizing long books of scripts every night. Absolutely not. But yes, we need to talk. It's not your kid's responsibility to have a regulated nervous system because, by the way, no baby is born dysregulated. Yes, they have their emotions along the way, all over the place. But there is something else going on which we need to talk about, okay? And I'm not judging you. I'm a mom who struggled as well, and I needed to figure out what's going on. And yes, it can be fast. Yes, it can be relatively simple, but let's solve the problem. Let's not just put it on the symptoms and blame it on the kids. Yes, so if you didn't get triggered by me already, let's talk about it inside this episode of the Zen Supermom podcast. Hi Supermom, my name is Alena, and I call myself very openly a mommy tantrum specialist because I used to be a specialist at yelling at my daughter, and I had only one, and she was only 1 year old, and I was already losing it. So that's why, and I always want to mention that at the very beginning, I am not judging anybody. I'm not here to shame or blame or like point a finger at stressed out moms because I can imagine how much you're carrying. I just spoke to a mom of 4 kids who has like from the age of 2 till 12. One of them with special needs. She's the main breadwinner. Husband, luckily there is a husband in the picture and he's taking care of the kids. But I know many of you don't even have the father of the kids in the picture, or he is the problem, right? Like he is the one who's bullying the kids and who's creating drama at home, and all you're trying to do is to like survive this madness and nobody get killed, right? So I'll be the last one to judge you. But we need to make sure that you're not wasting time and creating new problems by what seems like, oh, this is the perfect solution. Because I can tell you, I've been watching these ads for nervous system regulation and brain activation for kids. I've been watching that on my Instagram. And really, I was hypnotized by that. And I was thinking, well, If I was watching that when my daughter was 1, 2 years old, I would be definitely on it. Because it sounds so great. It's like, this is the magic pill. Just like fix my daughter so that she's regulated. She stops triggering me so that I can finally be the nice, calm, patient, loving, nurturing mom 100% of the times. Right? Because did you notice? Maybe like you're all of this 99% of times, right? You would do anything for your kids. You sacrificed your body. You sacrificed your career sometimes. You sacrificed your life, maybe even your relationships with your friends or with your partner, with their father. You would do anything for them. And 99% of time, you're the best mom in the world that they could ever wish for. But like, what is that percentage of when you're like, why is it me always having to do the work? I've done already so much and I'm tired, I'm exhausted. I keep pushing, I keep doing it by myself and I just need some help. And so that's why this sounds great, because this is something that kids can do. It's their time to do some stuff as well, because it cannot be always me. It's not my fault. I'm doing great. I'm doing the best I can. I can't do better. I'm already at the end of my energy. I can't do more. Please don't point the finger at me. So I know. I see you. I hear you. I keep checking in. I keep hearing the stories. I know. I'm not here to put more work on your plate. On the contrary. Okay. So let's start there. Nobody's judging you. It's not your fault. It might be really even somebody else who's like making your kids stressed out and dysregulated. But you giving your kids exercises how they can regulate, it's not going to solve the reason why they are dysregulated in the first place. Right? Let me find an analogy. It's like as if you just let your kids go to the jungle and give them a little machete so that they can clear it out, but the jungle keeps growing back. And it's like, kid, it's your responsibility to go through the jungle. You have no map, you have no idea where you're going, you will be eaten by all the animals, but yes, here's the machete, go practice. It's like, no, that's not the best solution, right? So, first things first, not your fault, okay? Established. Second, I'm going to say this with all of my loving empathy for all struggling moms out there, because that really used to be me. But parenting is leadership. You cannot expect your kids to learn skills that you do not have currently. Okay? And hear me out. I'm not judging you. We already established that, right? But hear me out. Nervous system regulation, meaning, aka, like let's translate that in normal language, right? What they mean by nervous system regulation, what is usually meant by that is you can stay calm under pressure. You can keep, and not faking, not like boiling inside, like raging inside, but trying to not say anything. Your kids can read energy. They can feel it that you're mad even if you don't say anything, okay? So what nervous system regulation means, you feel the anger, you don't blame anybody else for it, and you have tools how to work on it without dumping it on your kids or without poisoning your own physical health with that. Because, by the way, there are studies on that. Suppressed rage and anger causes autoimmune disease, chronic diseases, and cancer. So do your research on that. Dr. Joe Dispenza, Dr. Gabor Mate, neuropsychobiology, it has been already proven. This is not just some woo-woo or me fear-mongering. That is a fact. So I'm not here to tell you just feel the anger and eat it, lock it inside, because that's going to get you sick. What is healthy nervous system regulation? It means I feel the emotion, because there's nothing wrong with feeling angry. There's nothing wrong for your kids if they are feeling angry, sad, distracted. Like, those are normal states. And we have to normalize that for us and for the kids. What is not healthy is expressing that, is dumping that on other people and blaming them for you having your emotion, right? So what kids absolutely need help with, if they feel jealousy, for example, if they are like needy for attention, yeah, that's normal emotion. So we don't want them to stop feeling that and just like do your activation exercises so that you're not a jealous kid. Like, nah, there's nothing wrong with them feeling jealous, or there's nothing wrong with them feeling upset that their sibling stole their toy or broke something. That's normal. Feelings like anger, especially if we talk about anger, because I work with yelling moms, so anger is usually like is the strongest emotion. There's nothing wrong with anger. But we want to teach our kids how to express and feel that anger without hitting the other person, without blaming it on them. I'm angry the whole day because you did or you said that in the morning. Like, they are not responsible for that. That is your own nervous system regulation. That is up to you. You need to have the ability to process, set boundaries. That's what the emotions are about. Emotions are indications like, hey, something is off. Either somebody's crossing the boundary, something is happening to me, and I'm not protected. So the anger then jumps up as a protection mechanism. Yeah? Because, hey, you don't have boundaries. People are crossing it. People are hurting you. So the anger comes as an attack back. Now, the healthy, mature response to feeling anger is like, I'm curious. I'm feeling angry. Where is that coming from? Rather than, you need to stop yelling and stop being noisy because I can't take it anymore. I'm overwhelmed. Shut up, people. Shut up, kids. Do your nervous system activation. Here's the screen. Just shut up and leave me alone. Again, no judging. Of course it happens because it's been too much. But this is what nervous system regulation means. You learn to feel your emotion. You learn how to deal with it. You do set the boundary or natural consequences. If anybody's doing something to you that is not okay, you take action, but you take that action without emotionally vomiting that emotion on them and without blaming them for you feeling the emotion, okay? So I want to be very clear. Nervous system regulation doesn't mean like your kid is going to kick you because you're dragging them to the shower because they refuse to have a shower for a week. And so you finally have to drag them to the shower and they kick and bite you in the process. And so what you will do is smile and say, don't kick mama because... No, I'm not saying that. I'm not saying you should let your kids hitting each other. I'm not saying you should let your kids spend the whole night on tablets watching movies or draw on all the walls in the apartment because you don't want to yell at them. I'm not saying that. This is not like permissive education or raising kids. Okay? This is about you feeling the anger, seeing, okay, you just drew on the wall. That is not okay. So what are the consequences? And let's do that together, or there is an action for you. Now, I cannot let you keep doing that. So there's a consequence. There's something that will logically, naturally occur now because this happened. But you are sharing that in energy that is still connected with the kids. That's not blaming them. They are learning. This is all a learning curve for them. And it still feels like I'm here with you to help you solve that problem. It's not like you hurt me, so now I need to defend and hurt you back so that you know how it feels. And I had so many moms saying like, yeah, I feel so ashamed, but my child kicked me, so I kick them back so that now you know how it hurts. And she felt like so ashamed because, she said, I know I shouldn't have done that, but in that moment, it just felt I had to. And that's the next thing that we need to talk about, because this is the reason why your emotions become so huge that they take over and you do things you would not normally do. And you're like, who the heck is this person? The reason why that happens is, ta-da! It is in your own childhood. And don't get scared. I'm not going to slap any inner child's trauma therapy on you. But this is the elephant in the room that I mentioned in the beginning. We need to mention that. We need to talk about that. Because this is the root of your own nervous system dysregulation. And this is the big reason why, unless and until you rewire your nervous system, so that your inner child, you stop basically behaving like a kid when you get really triggered. That's what I call mommy tantrums, which I'm a specialist at having, used to be having them. Now I'm healing them. Until and unless this is rewired in your nervous system, you will keep undoing. Even if your kids are doing the work, even if they are doing these exercises and it's working for them, and they are getting regulated in their nervous system, as long as you don't regulate your own nervous system and remove the triggers that keep making the little you coming up and getting upset every time something happens, you will be undoing their work. You will be undoing the work of your kids. Because here's another analogy. This is like you're the Wi-Fi, kids are the mobile phone. It doesn't matter how many apps you give them. It doesn't matter how smart the phone is. If the Wi-Fi it's connecting to, the Wi-Fi is spotty, it's out of the place, it's most of the times it's not working rather than working, they can be the smartest phone on the planet with the best apps in the world, it will be completely useless. Because if there's one thing you can learn from those smart parenting like strategies and courses, is that kids are born with their nervous system wired to yours. So they're not just learning how to talk, how to speak from you. They're not just learning how to smile from you if you smile at them. They're not just learning basic skills like how we eat with the spoon and how we interact with friends and family. The most important thing your kids are learning without even realizing that they're just absorbing it is they're learning how to interact with your nervous system. And they're directly wired to it. And you already know that. I'm not telling you anything new. You notice that on the days when you wake up already stressed in the morning because you have a day full of stressful meetings at work, you don't have much time even, you know you're not going to have time even for lunch. Or you know they have a dentist appointment and they are going to hate it and be upset. You already wake up stressed out. You already wake up ready for the battle and it's like, there's already contraction. And if you really pay attention, you will already feel it in your shoulders, in your neck, on your chest. There will be something heavy, something like tight. There will be like constriction and tension already when you wake up. On these mornings, are your kids having better time or are your kids being extra difficult? You already noticed that, right? That's why even if your kids would learn how to regulate themselves, even if they would be already Zen Buddha masters, the morning they wake up and you show up for breakfast with this tight, stressed out, like energy ready to blow up, how do you think that's going to go for your kids? Yeah, I don't think so either. Right? So this is not to blame anything on you. This is not to put the main weight on you. This is actually the good news. Because that's why the table should be reversed. It's your nervous system that sets the tone. That's why I was saying parenting is leadership. You set the tone. And that's the good news. Because the moment you rewire the reason why the little you jumps up when you get too triggered, when you start doing some regulation exercises for you, then you will naturally, without even trying, you will have an impact on your kids. You will help them regulate better. And they will be learning from you. And yes, I'm saying that because not only like I don't want to put myself on a pedestal, like look at how great and regulated I am and my daughter is. I've done this with hundreds of moms, like individually with them, so I know their stories personally, and with thousands of moms in my free trainings. Okay, so that's the place from which I can already anticipate the challenges that's going to come up for moms who just want to dump it on the kids. Yeah, I've done enough. I've done so much therapy. It's time for my kids to get going and start doing something. I already see where that's going to go, right? Does that make sense? Okay, because this is the important conversation we need to be having. And now, In the next step, I want to address, because I can imagine, because indeed, this is not my first rodeo. This is not the first time I'm talking to moms. I've heard all the stories and so many of them. There will be moms who will tell me, well, yeah, but I've already done it. I've already done so much therapy. And by the way, I'm not even yelling. I hear you, lady. Like, you had mommy tantrums. You were yelling at my door. I don't yell at my kids. I don't do that. And I am calm. I am regulated. It's my husband. It's the bullies at school. It's the teacher who keeps yelling at them. It's not me. So what are you saying? Like, don't put that on me. Correct. Yes. And let's go back to the leadership metaphor. Yes. I absolutely agree with you. It's not your 100% responsibility of what happens to your kid outside. Absolutely not. And you cannot even protect them from that, that was a very hard lesson for me to learn. I cannot stop the bullies bullying my daughter at school because of like her hair and her skin color was different. She's a mixed race kid, right? So she was going through some racial bullying when she was 3 years old. I was like, yeah, maybe it will happen when she's bigger because, yeah, the kids can be mean at the preteen teenage. I did not expect it to come when she was 3 or 4 years old in a kindergarten. I was like, what? They can be so nasty, these little... You cannot protect your kids from that. But this is exactly about us leading by example and creating a safe space for our kids so that they know their self-worth. And that's something that no cute little brain exercise is going to teach your kids. Because let me ask you this. Let's think back about your own childhood. How did you feel when you made a mistake? How did your parents react? How or what kind of support did you get when if you were bullied at school, if there were some mean kids? Did you get the support? How did you experience your own parents going through their stressful situations? Maybe they were amazing. They were never yelling at you. They never punished you. They never bribed you with treats. Like, if you're nice and do this, you will get this sweet. And now you're sitting there wondering why you always procrastinate. Yeah, because there's nobody treating you like with candy if you do something right. Or you're wondering why you're overweight because you're calming. Your way to work with your nervous system is to reward yourself and give yourself sweets and extra yummy food because you're doing such a hard job. Those are what were the nervous system regulation tools that your parents gave you growing up? What tools or what ways, what coping mechanisms did you see your parents apply whenever they were stressed, whenever life was not going their way? Because that's what we are talking about here. And no, you don't need years of talk therapy. Just talk about what your mom or your dad did or didn't do. Yeah, and I need to control my brain right now, by the way, because what just popped in my mind is those are classic scenarios of clients who would come to me. And this is the other risk, by the way. Very often I work with moms who had, talking about their childhood, they grew up with alcoholic father or father who was abusive in any way, who was toxic, or a father who just checked out. It was just like, I'm not interested in having kids. Bye! I'm off to a younger, whatever, better looking woman. And the father just left. And so then my clients, the women, they were left with their moms who just happened to be a single mom with all of this emotional overwhelm. The problem was that about half of them, it's like from my own like stats with clients, half of them became the therapist for the mom. Because the mom was dysregulated, they had to step up and take a place of a regulation partner. And so then their moms were dependent on them to feel better. Now, what do you think is the impact for my clients today as they are moms? It's not going well, I can tell you, right? Because if you grew up, and that's the risk, that's why I'm mentioning it here, related or linked to the nervous system activation for kids. Because if you make your kids responsible for learning skills you do not have, which I'm sorry, but you don't, because if you did, your kids wouldn't need to learn it outside. Okay? Let's just say it the way it is. As I said, no judgment. But if you need your kids to learn how to regulate their nervous system by doing some cute course and practices outside, it means they did not learn that from you, which means you do not have these skills yourself. And that's not your fault. It just confirms you didn't learn it from your parents, which is completely normal because most of our parents, they did not have access. There was no neuroscience. There was no healthy parenting. There was very traditional conservative parenting, or there were lots of abusive childhoods going on back then. So not blaming anybody. But this is the reason why you need to learn those skills first. Because if you put your kid in charge of emotional regulation without you doing the work, then you are making your child responsible for doing the work. Then your child becomes the leader and they feel the responsibility, the weight of it, while it basically changes the roles. Then your kid becomes the parent and you're the dysregulated kid who will make their job much harder. And I know that from women who used to be those kids, who had to learn how to suppress their own emotions because their mom was so devastated and heartbroken from your father leaving her or her running away from abusive, alcoholic, whatever relationship. But she was so heartbroken and she was so devastated and she felt so alone that you had to step up and be her emotional regulation partner, which meant you had to suppress any emotions that you had. You had to put her first. You learned that you do not matter or that your safety is linked to hers and that your job is to make her calm and happy. So women who grew up this way, and by the way, I worked with men as well who had to take that job of being a parent for their parent as well. So now what happens to them as adults, you let me know what happens, how you react today to your kids. But most of the people I met who grew up in this situation, they now feel extremely resentful. Their kids, when they're babies and they cry or when they get hurt, that mom now feels it as this is bloody hell not fair. When I was little, when I was hurting, nobody cared. I had to be there for my mom. I had to be the referee and mediator between my arguing parents. I had to make sure they don't kill each other. I never had the childhood. I never had the luxury to cry. I never had the luxury to just express my emotions and have somebody hold safe space and help me sort it out and make sense out of it. I could never do that as a child. It's so not fair that somebody expects me to do it for you, my kid. Because how do I even do that? There's a part of me, the younger part of me, that feels like this is not fair. When is it going to be my turn? Finally! Now I'm the adult. I should have the permission to just because I have so much responsibility. When is my turn coming? You don't want to put that on your kids, do you? That's the risk. Yeah. I used to be that child as well. Again, not blaming my mom for anything, but my mom was going through so much pressure because of how she grew up. So she ended up being the controlling, perfecting, hyperachieving people pleaser and victim, putting so much pressure on herself just to feel worthy, just to feel good enough, because her parents never made her feel good enough. The first thing they saw in her was not the 99% of things she did well. They saw the tiny thing that she did wrong or that was not okay. And they criticized and judged her for that and they punished her for that. So my mom grew up it was her survival mechanism to now scan the environment and look for the faults, look for the mistakes, look for what's wrong so that she can fix it and she can feel safe in her and in others. So then what do you think my mom did when she had me as her firstborn? She looked for wherever I was wrong, whenever I was not good enough, so that she could fix me, and she did that with positive intentions underneath, right? Like, I need to help you become better so that other people don't judge you. But underneath, the message I was getting from her nervous system was like, I'm not good enough. She needs to fix me because I'm not okay. I'm not lovable. Because before she shows me love, or before she showed me any appreciation or gave me any praise, there was a long list of things I had to do or change about myself first. That's not unconditional love. That's very conditional. That's not safe. That didn't feel safe to me growing up. I felt like I could never relax and be just who I am and show my feelings as they were because everything had to be suppressed. Right? So that's whenever my daughter felt free to show her emotions and she had her big explosions, I was like, I can't take this. This is not, how dare you? This is not okay. Like, shut up, right? So that's why we cannot put that responsibility on our kids to learn how to regulate the nervous system unless we do our nervous system regulation first. And that does not have to take years. You don't have to talk about blah, 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 what happened in your childhood for the next 20 years on somebody's sofa. That is purely neuroscience. It can be rewired. Yes, there are little cute tiny exercises for adults as well. And yes, you can start even today. You want to do one with me right now? Do it. Is it going to help you forever and solve all of your problems and all of your stresses and stuff? No. But do you want to know how it feels? Do you want to do one with me right now? Exercise for adults, how to start regulating, and something that you can even show to your kids. Let's do it. Take one hand, whichever, I don't care. Put 3 fingers together, your thumb, index finger, and the middle finger. Put them together and just start rubbing them together. And notice, what is the temperature of your fingers? How does your skin feel? Is it do you have dry skin? Do you notice, is it oily? Is it sticky? Maybe you just ate something, it's sticky, or just touched something. Now go with your thumb, go over the edges of your nails on your 2 other fingers. Just see how that feels. You don't have to judge yourself oh my gosh, I didn't cut my whatever nails, or there's something I don't like. Don't judge, just notice. And as you do that, just breathe, calm down your breath. Notice if there's any other sensation as you're doing this. And that's it. Take a breath, you're done. This was one repetition. This was one repetition of becoming present, getting from your head into your body. Now, is that all there is? Absolutely not, but this is the beginning. This is where we start with every single client. They could tell you when they start the Zen Supermom program, this is one of the first things we teach them, because this is the first tiny little step and you can start taking it even today. Why is it important? What's the neuroscience behind it? Is that indeed from your overwhelmed, either stressed out, anxious, or depressed, avoidant mind, you're dropping into your body. You're becoming present, and just for a tiny moment, the noise in your head stops. And it's not about the story in your head that's either frustrated about the past and complaining about the past, or already anxious about the future. You become present now. Now, you have lots of things like breath work, meditation, yoga to do that, right? But that's why this step alone is not enough, because it's not just about becoming present, but then it's about rewiring the usual automated response. So are you going into controlling, perfecting, people-pleasing, hyperaching? What is your usual stress automated response? Then we need to give you specific exercises for that. Because that is not just generic, rub your fingers together and you're healed forever. No, there need to be specific exercises depending on the type of your stress response. But that's the next step. But we all start here, becoming present and creating just a tiny little bit of space so that you stop letting those like emotions and blah 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 in your head driving you, your life, and your relationship with your kids, and you actually can create a tiny bit of pause. Now the advantage is that this little thing, you can do it anytime, anywhere, under the table. Nobody doesn't even have to see what you're doing, and it's just a reminder, like, I don't care what's happening here, what a crazy stuff or crazy stuff in my emotions. I choose to be present. I want to just create a little bit of more clarity. Okay? This is just one tiny sliver, but this is how quick, how practical it can be, and how quickly can it work. Did you feel at least like a little pause, little break there? Yeah. So now imagine what would happen if you started practicing that, and if you got specific rewiring exercises for your specific pattern, depending on whatever happened in your childhood. That's how quick it can be, okay? But back to the point. You want to get that thing for your kid, get it. Who am I to tell you what to do or not with your kids? All I'm saying is we need to start paying attention to what's happening with you so that you become the leader and you don't shift the responsibility to your kids. And you don't have to freak out that it takes years and it's heavy and it's painful. It can be as easy as okay? Good. If you want to find out more details about how I do it with my clients and with my team, sign up for one of the upcoming live mommy tantrum masterclasses, okay? So that we can talk, because here I just spend half an hour doing blah, blah, blah and an empty screen on my computer. But I want your feedback. I want your yes, but, and how about this? But my situation is so unique. You've never heard of that, woman. Just like, that's not going to work. Come and tell me. I love to learn. That's why I have a team. They do like the 99% of the typical case scenarios, helping the moms that we know exactly we're specialized at helping. If you believe like I'm a special case, you've never seen a family like this, you've never seen a childhood trauma like this, bring it on. That's what I love the most. That's why I have the team. They do majority of the work. I'm here to solve out those complex, tangled things. I love that even more, because anytime we help mom put that on track and help her rewire that, we learn from that, and it makes us more efficient in helping other moms. So yeah, absolutely. Bring it on. Let's come and talk. Meet me for that live training so that we can get in touch. Yeah. My intention is to help. Again, I'm not here to judge, shame, or blame anybody. I'm not telling you what to do with your kids. You're getting already enough of unsolicited, unwanted advice. I know, by the way, how great you're doing already. And that's not like me being a fake cheerleader. That's just a fact, knowing that if you've been listening to a 35-minute podcast episode and you got till the end without getting triggered enough to like shut me down already and delete this podcast from your playlist, it tells me there is a big heart and you are not going to give up, and you have the courage to go even to places that are not comfortable. So I want to acknowledge you for that. Because I can imagine like 99% of what you're doing is already amazing. It's already ahead of all the other moms. Not that we are here to compare or put anybody down or judge any, like they are the bad moms and you're the great mom. Like, no, that's just toxic bullshit. But let's acknowledge also, and that's where I want to leave you with, you celebrating your wins already. Because I can imagine your childhood was probably much more difficult than what you're creating for your kids already today. So when is the last time you gave yourself a credit for? Or are you also picking up everything that's wrong with you and not giving yourself enough credit and not creating any celebrations for what you're already doing great? Yeah. So it's time to recognize yourself. And I can't see you, but I know if you're listening that you are already doing great with your kids. Yeah. Let's just rewire this tiny piece, because it's going to make a huge difference in how you feel day by day. That's what I'm here for. Sounds good? All right. I'm going to see you in one of these mommy tantrum masterclasses. Yeah. Great work, Supermom. Let me know how this podcast is going for you. Give a review, share a comment, ask a question, and I'm going to see you next week. Bye.